Ben Jonson's The Alchemist reaches its comedic peak in Act 4, scenes 5, 6 and 7. The play, a satirical masterpiece of the English Renaissance, revolves around the elaborate cons of Subtle, a fraudulent alchemist, and his accomplices, Face and Doll Common. These cunning tricksters prey on the greed and gullibility of London's elite, creating a world of illusory promises and shattered dreams. As Act 4 unfolds, the intricate web of lies spun by the conmen begins to unravel, leading to a hilarious cascade of chaos, misunderstandings, and desperate attempts to maintain their facade. This section of the play is a whirlwind of dramatic irony, slapstick humour, and witty dialogue. Jonson masterfully juggles multiple storylines, keeping the audience on the edge of their seats as they witness the conmen's desperate attempts to maintain their charade. The characters, blinded by their desires and oblivious to the truth, become entangled in a web of their own making for a delightful and thought-provoking theatrical experience. Act 4, Scene 5 opens with Doll Common, disguised as the Queen of Fairy, feigning madness. This calculated performance is a crucial part of Subtle's plan to further manipulate their wealthy and gullible victim, Sir Epicure Mammon. Mammon, blinded by his desire for the Philosopher's Stone and its promise of unlimited wealth, readily believes Doll's act, attributing her erratic behaviour to the potent forces of alchemy. Doll's performance is nothing short of brilliant. She rants and raves, spouting gibberish and nonsensical prophecies, further solidifying Mammon's belief in Subtle's alchemical prowess. Her feigned madness adds another layer of complexity to the con, making the already convoluted situation even more difficult to decipher for those caught in its web. Just as Mammon begins to question the chaos unfolding around him, another unsuspecting victim, Abel Drugger, arrives with his associate Castril and a boisterous tobacconist named Abel Drugger. Lungs, eager to have his tobacco blessed for good fortune, unwittingly stumbles into the midst of Doll's performance and the escalating tension within the alchemist's den. His presence throws another wrench into the conmen's carefully constructed plans, forcing them to think on their feet and improvise to maintain their charade. Lungs's arrival is a comedic masterstroke. His obliviousness to the true nature of the situation and his eagerness to have his tobacco blessed provide a hilarious contrast to the growing panic of Mammon and the conmen's desperate attempts to maintain control. The arrival of Castril, a hot-tempered young man, adds another layer of volatility to the mix, threatening to expose Subtle and his accomplices. Section 4. Subtle's calculated fury, orchestrating a dramatic exit. With the arrival of Lungs and Castril, the situation in the alchemist's den spirals further into chaos. Subtle, realizing the need for a dramatic diversion, feigns a fit of rage, blaming Mammon's presence for disrupting the delicate alchemical process. In a show of calculated fury, he begins to destroy their equipment, further convincing Mammon that their operation is genuine and his presence is jeopardizing it. Subtle's outburst serves a dual purpose. Firstly, it effectively diverts attention from Doll's increasingly unconvincing performance and the potentially disastrous presence of Lungs and Castril. Secondly, it reinforces Mammon's belief in the authenticity of their alchemical work, making him even more desperate to regain their favour and ensure his access to the promised riches. Section 5. The aftermath of chaos. A momentary respite and lingering doubts. In the aftermath of Subtle's outburst, Mammon, thoroughly convinced of the danger he poses to the alchemical process, is easily persuaded to leave the house. The conmen, having successfully navigated another close call, heave a sigh of relief as they regroup and assess the damage. However, their respite is short-lived as they are still left to deal with the suspicious Lungs and Castril, who remain unconvinced by the day's events. Despite their successful manipulation of Mammon, the conmen are not out of the woods yet. Lungs and Castril's lingering doubts pose a threat to their operation. Subtle, ever the master manipulator, devises a new plan to allay their suspicions and ensure their continued silence, setting the stage for the next act in this comedic drama of deception and intrigue. Section 6. Lovewit's return. The master returns and the con begins to crumble. Just when the conmen believe they have weathered the storm, a new and unexpected threat arrives at their doorstep. Lovewit, the master of the house, returns from his self-imposed exile. This unexpected development throws their carefully constructed world into disarray, forcing them to scramble for a new plan to protect their secrets and avoid exposure. The stakes are higher than ever, as their freedom, their reputations, and their ill-gotten gains hang in the balance. Lovewit's return marks a turning point in the play. The conmen, so adept at manipulating others, are now faced with the ultimate challenge, convincing the one person who can see through their charade and expose them for the frauds they are. This sets the stage for a hilarious and suspenseful conclusion, as Subtle, Face and Doll must employ all their cunning and guile to escape the consequences of their actions.